impact you and the faith decisions of your own life?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, we are products of our environment, and we're products of other people's influences. And like I said, Miss Threet, you know, she's so angelic. You know, she realized that a lot of the children that came to her home were dealing with a lot of different problems, and she never judged any of us from what happened in the past. It was like a new beginning. She always told us, "You come in here, it's a new start for you. You know, I don't care what happened years ago. It's a new start for you, you know." So that just gave us the confidence to start anew and to be better people and what have you, you know. And she just she stressed the importance, obviously, of being active in the church, things of that nature, you know. So that alone, I knew that I had to use that as a staple in my particular life, you know. And as my life progressed, I mean, every now and then you get off the beaten path and you kind of forget, you know, but it's important. It's amazing how life experiences brings you back to God and helps you realize your true purpose here and what you're supposed to be doing.
And she really provided a real kind of a stable environment, because you had a lot of natural ability in basketball, but the Hampton Roads area, even with basketball, is pretty competitive for high school. I mean, and so she gave you almost that ability to have a stable home life, to be able to pursue who God made you to be. Oh yeah, most definitely. Very much so. And then you mentioned the Hampton Roads area. I heard that you're very familiar with Chesapeake. And I was born in Norfolk, Virginia. And very competitive environment when it came to high school sports, you know. And I enjoyed every bit of it from the standpoint I was a competitive person. And I had an opportunity to meet some amazing people like Boo Williams and my high school coach, Coach Lassiter, and which helped me get the experience that I needed through travels and competition and what have you, which improved my game overall. And it led me to capture the title of being the best high school basketball player in the country at that particular time, and being highly recruited from all these colleges and everything. So I had to make some tough decisions. Yeah, that brings up the big one, Georgetown. Exactly. I mean, wow, what a choice that was.
There must have been a lot of competition, but a great choice.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't that difficult for me to figure out that that's the place I should be, and I should be spending my collegiate career. All of the coaches that were trying to get me to go to these particular universities, I narrowed it down to 5 schools, and it was Maryland, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Syracuse, and Georgetown. And all those major college coaches came to my home. They spoke to Mrs. Threet. They spoke to my high school coach, Bill Lassiter. And what stood out about Coach Thompson is the fact that Coach Thompson just was very candid. Didn't spend a whole lot of time in there. Didn't tell me that I was going to get this, I was going to receive this, you know, you're going to be here and you're going to be there. He just told Ms. Threet, he said, look, I'm not going to promise him anything. He's going to have to work to start. I'm not going to promise you that he's going to get a car or money or anything like that, but I will tell you this, he's going to get his education, and he's going to go to class, and if he does not go to class, he won't be at my university, period. So, I mean, I was, mouth dropped open, because I was used to hearing,
we're going to give you all the perks.
Exactly. So, you know, aside to the fact that I loved Patrick Ewing at that particular time, and I admired his tenaciousness on the court and his defensive impact on games and what have you, and I followed him. That kind of drew me towards the university as well. But hearing that from Coach Thompson at that particular time, that placed a lot of emphasis on exactly where I should be, you know, and based on my high school coach, Bill Lassiter, and Fannie Threet, who is a retired school teacher, you know, that was right up her alley. So it was a no-brainer for me.
She loved hearing that.
Exactly.
And your status as the #1 player, high school player in the United States, you would almost think that coaches would come to you and say, you've arrived. And you almost have that entitlement, I've arrived, I'm good, you're lucky to get me, to think that you're going to go someplace and choose to say, you're going to have to work academically and athletically. You know, and
I think that's the biggest dilemma with a lot of younger players these days, because times have totally changed. You know, there's such a sense of entitlement from a lot of players, and they don't feel like they have to work for anything because they're used to getting handouts. You know, and from day one, I knew that I was going to have to work. I was going to have to work for everything that I have. You know, and regardless of if I didn't receive the cars, the you know, and the financial benefits of going to those other universities, I knew through hard work and through resilience and staying the course and focus, that eventually I would reap all those particular accolades, which I have. And looking back on it now, I can't think of a better path to have taken than through the tutelage of John Thompson.
It prepared you for things that you weren't even aware that you would have to face in the future.
It prepared me for life more than just basketball. I mean, I look at Coach Thompson, and he had closed practices, and he used that particular atmosphere as his classroom. And I mentioned a particular scenario in the book about him stopping practice. And we had some very intense practices. So he stopped practicing, and he pulled everybody, all the players to the side. We sat on the bleachers. And he said, can anybody tell me what went on in the world today? And everybody's looking around at, and then it says a significant event that happened in the world today, what happened? So nobody raised their hand. So you can tell he was getting a little upset that we didn't know. So one of the managers raised their hand, and manager's name is Markham Stansbury, and he said, well, they just tore down the Berlin Wall. So he looked at all of the players, and he says, look, you go to one of the most prestigious academic institutes in the country. There's no reason why any of you should not know the current events in this world today. And ever since that particular moment, I made sure I read the front page of the paper every day, just got to keep up just in case he posed that question again, But he prepared you not just for basketball, but for life in general, and help you understand that, you are here to be an academic person first, second, an athlete, So that was our overall focus. He placed a lot of emphasis on that. And I think he's gotten a lot of success out of his players just based on that particular philosophy.
I guess so. Well, you could have started your NBA career early and not finished college, but you chose to complete your education, graduate, and you were the first person in your family to get a degree. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, I knew that, first of all, Ms. Threet continued to stress the importance of education. She wanted me that was one of her accomplishments that she wanted to see evolve in my life, because of her being a retired school teacher, and I'm happy that I did stay the course, because you're right, it was easy for me to just leave after my junior year, but looking back on it all, that goes back to the influences that people have in your life, and surrounding yourself with the right individuals, so like I said, I wouldn't change the path of my life for anything right now, because I'm able to create a memoir and share those particular experiences with individuals, in hopes that they can utilize the experiences that I have went through to use as a tool in going through their lives and addressing certain situations and being triumphant.
And the coach's idea that you represent not just basketball and not just him, but Georgetown, and it's a prestigious university. You need to know more than the sports section. And you went on to actually graduate and went on to the NBA, and a lot of you know the story, but there's a lot more you don't know. We're going to come back, a lot more of Alonzo Mourning's story.
All right.